Former Assistant U.S. Attorney David Weinstein is here to help us understand the significance of what happened in court today. So, David, the defense acknowledges that Cruz carried out this attack. So really, is this just a formality, legally speaking? What is the significance?
What's important here is that they were able to have the grand jury return the charges within the 21-day window. Had they not done that, we would have all had to listen to a hearing where a judge would have had to have found probable cause that Cruz committed these crimes. So now that's been foregone. The indictment itself tells us what we already know, that 17 people were killed and that 17 additional people were almost killed. And of those 17 attempted murder charges, 8 of those people were actually hit by bullets that were fired by Cruz. All of those attempted murder charges, they carry 20-year minimum mandatory sentences if he's convicted. They'll also be able to use those as aggravating factors when they seek the death penalty. So what we need to watch for next is that within the next 45 days, by statute, as amended after recent decisions, SATS has to file a document indicating he is in fact going to seek the death penalty and what these aggravating factors are going to be. The premeditation, the way he carried it out, the way that these victims died, and other enumerated factors. He has to do that within 45 days. If he doesn't, he can't seek the death penalty.
Well, the public defender, that's the whole issue. The public defender wants the death penalty taken off the table. Is that still an issue that could happen? That's something that could happen, you think?
It's certainly going to involve a lot of meetings between the defense attorneys, the prosecutors, and the victims. The victims all have a right to be heard, and for those victims who are no longer with us, their next of kin have a right to be heard. It's their right, it's all of our rights under the Florida's Constitution. So before anybody can waive the death penalty, these people have to have their voice heard and they have to have some input in it. Now, the public defender may want to try and run to court and say, look, my client is willing to plead to this document that's been on file. There is no notice of death penalty, so therefore you can't impose death here. They can't do that. There's a ruling out of a district court of appeals that says, again, the victims have a right to have input, so therefore you can't rush in to avoid the death penalty. This is going to be a slow process. This is not going to be a story that goes away anytime soon.
David, really quickly, prison logs describe Cruz as coherent. They say he seems to be having functional meetings with his attorneys. They also say he's giggling and laughing. Does any of this play into a possible insanity defense, or is that mostly just focused on the time of the crime?
It plays into a current insanity defense. He's certainly able to help his attorneys now. He knows what's going on now. It doesn't necessarily play one way or the other into whether at the time he committed the crime he knew what he was doing.
All right, David Weinstein, thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, David.